I'll go first. I'm Mamodibe Ramodibe. I play Gabby Kumalo on Go.
Her name is Thandeka King. I play the character of Mamodibe.
There are many elements that were exciting for me. I think upon reading the story, I remember this quite vividly actually, when we had our table read. It was virtual for me because I wasn't in town yet. I remember reading the story and I was quite fatigued. It was the end of 2023 and I was on the fence about whether or not to commit. After our table read, I called my agent and like, I love the story. It's real, it's raw, it's gripping, it's compelling. So it was love at first sight. It was love at first sight. So definitely it was the story.
I think with me, I fell in love with my son the first day I saw him. My son and the story, Sia. I fell in love with him because there are so many similarities. Firstly, we look alike, literally. I fell in love with his energy because it was a fresh and a raw energy that I was excited to be part of. I was excited to be part of that team. And I later then had to have a chemistry session with him where we needed to, via energy, become mother and son. And I found that session was very important. And I have then ever since advised that should happen whenever people are to play either siblings, lovers, a parent-child relationship. That is very important because do not take it for granted that the energy or the chemistry is just going to work for you and you've just met each other for the first time. The camera never lies. So if you've taken time to actually make sure that the chemistry is right, you understand everything about each other. You understand the fact that when I touch you here, you're comfortable. I am comfortable with what we're doing. It then helps you tell the story so truthfully via that relationship.
Futhi into ebalulekile ukuthi uwine. Empilweni kumele wazi ukuthi ugijima uyaphi, nanokuthi ugijinyiswa yini, futhi ugijima usukaphi. Mesikhala nje isibhamu, kuyaphoqa ukuthi usukume uhambe ngoba ama-second chance awatholwa.
We meet Gabby in the plight of grief, right? Grief is a very paralyzing state of being, but also it can be very, and I think this is what I discovered throughout the filming process, that each time I appeared in the scene, I had to decide what is happening that is affecting my state of grief right now. And that's a challenge because grief it's not one note, right? There's times where you can't get out of bed, and there are times where you're breaking down in the toilet at work, and then there are times that you can actually get through breakfast. So even that on its own, I went home tired. I went home tired all the time. And I remember, thankfully, our director, Tristan Holmes, we filmed the most gruesome scenes towards the end. I slept for almost 10 hours after we wrapped. And that's when I realized it's been here.
Yeah.
It's been here. But it was beautiful to be able then to be truthful, right? So I discovered that grief when performing needs to be real. I needed to locate the realness of this emotion.
Yeah.
And personalize it as well.
Mine is a very visually evident one, where it's very rare that I play characters that are physically not able to do much. My character was just bedridden most of the time, and when she moved, it was very restricted. It was very frustrating for me as a performer, but that's exactly who the character was. She was sick. I'm not sure which stage of cancer. She had cancer. So I needed to be sick. My energy needed to bring on board the sick energy so that I could carry through that character. And I loved the fact that I needed to internalize more. It was more about the internal performance than the external, which is me. I'm always here, the other characters that I played. Very, very loud, very external. This time I had to learn to keep it inside and to work more with what I had inside.
For me, it starts when I hear cut, and that's a wrap. So as soon as I walk myself to wardrobe, it starts there. As I wipe the makeup off, as I take off costume, I am mentally doing the work of taking this person off. And I learned something recently about the state of being an artist, that there are actually 3 elements. There's myself, the person, myself, the actor, and then the character. And so the ability to then compartmentalize all of these things, very important, right? So those emotions you leave, Gabby's emotions are Gabby's emotions. I can't take that home. But it's just so interesting because your body doesn't know you're performing. So it's mentally cognizant of having borrowed emotions, leaving them, derobing, and for me I have to do like that physical work of taking off makeup, taking off clothes. When I get in the car and I leave off set, I'm still I'm leaving her behind. As soon as I get home, then I remember, this is my house, these are the lights, this is where my fridge is, those things come back. But physically, the grief, and I think this is for high state emotions as well, it takes longer to leave. So you do need an Epsom salt bath. You do need to actively do things, right? But it is important. I don't like method acting.
Oh, sorry.
I don't like to romanticize the idea of becoming anybody else, because that can be very dangerous emotionally. But we borrow from real emotions, and we understand that this is not my reality. I was privileged enough to tell someone else's story, to leave it there. So it is a process. It is a process, and an important one, because you do so much work to prep. And to just walk out of there and think, oh, it's cut, I'm picture wrapped, I can go and carry on with my life. Those emotions will fit you. They will locate you mid-groove.
I think this time around, it was the end of the year, firstly, and we were wrapping up almost everything that we had been doing in 2023. So it wasn't only that character that one was wrapping up. It was several other characters that were together. So it was like you needed to debrief from everything that you had been doing in the year, because this was at the end of the year when we did this. And I think we have been very fortunate to learn. For me, I have been fortunate to learn that action and cut are 2 very important words. Action, you become. Cut, you stop. Immediately. Mentally, emotionally, you stop. Because if you walk out that door and you're still carrying that character, then you have a problem.
Yes.
So if we could just keep in mind that action, it's not just a nice word. It's like you're hypnotizing someone. It's like inside, outside, So I think some of us have been very fortunate to learn that those words, listen to them for what they are. Firstly, I'm very proud of the young people that are in lead roles currently. They have a lot of responsibility on their shoulders. A lot of young people out there watch them and they want to become them. So they have a responsibility in the characters that they are portraying. they have a responsibility in the way they live in society. And it's a big responsibility because when people watch you on the screen, they want to think that they know you and they want to do the things that you do on and off the screen. So it's a huge responsibility because we have young people who find themselves like on social media. You realize that everybody is a star in their own play. Everybody is the star of their own show in their little in their phones. So we watch Gabby, we learn from what Gabby is doing, we go and emulate what Gabby is doing. So I'm proud, but I hope they know that it's a huge responsibility.